I now recognize Representative Carter for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, ranking members. Member Rattler, thank you all for being here. Ms. Hodgett, in your submitted testimony, you emphasized that in order for there to be successful implementation of CRCRA, it is critically important that these agencies harmonize for their reporting requirements to optimize protection and response, a streamlined coordination. Let's take a step back here and see how private sector entities, specifically the banking sector, for which you are an expert, can speak to how the private sector assesses cyber risk internally, how they ensure the risk assessments that they utilize are objective, independent, and reliable.
So financial institutions have a variety of different requirements that we need to meet with our regulators. So we have, just at the federal level, we have, for instance, the Federal Reserve Board, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, all of whom look at cyber risk management practices. They look at third-party risk management. They look at how you architect your systems for operational resilience. So what firms do internally is we have actually what we refer to as a three lines of defense model, in essence, where you have your frontline cyber defenders doing a lot of work. You will have a second line, which is independent of that and will look at those policies and programs and challenge them internally. And then you have a third line internally, which is internal audit, which will then do all of that same work again from yet another independent perspective. And then we have, for the largest institutions, they have an on-site examiner sitting in their headquarters, working with them day in and day out. So there was an ongoing oversight relationship there. So it's a very complex, interwoven set of rules and requirements that we work with every day.
And what input do you get from outside with that, do you?
So firms will bring in outside security consultants to do additional reviews of their systems. They will do things like penetration testing to sort of test how good their defenses are from a variety of different angles. They will assess themselves independently against things like the NIST cybersecurity framework. And that happens alongside and in addition to the regulatory oversight that happens. And all of that gets reported up to senior management and the board of directors level for regular conversation and action.
So with technology moving as fast as it does, would you, as you evaluate the risk, the pace at which the bad guys, if you will, are getting technology to undermine systems, how are we doing with keeping pace with the outside forces that we have to manage?
It is absolutely a challenge, and it is one reason why you need to ensure that any rules put in place are flexible and can be adaptable over time because the threats do change. So we have layered defense models. Zero trust was mentioned earlier. That's one of multiple things that we will employ. And the challenge there is in the regulatory structure to be nimble and get that right and not dictate that something has to be protected a certain way or with a certain type of technology, because I think that's where you can run into challenges. You need that flexibility and that ability to be nimble in how you're protecting your organization.
Thank you. Ms. Sherman, presently FISMA requires annual audits of federal government entities to conduct cybersecurity compliance and risk assessment. Their inspector general or an independent auditor can conduct this for them. This ensures reliability of the information that they share with CISA. It ensures accountability. What can be done to ensure that this reliability and accountability with private sector entities as information sharing reporting requirements expand?
With respect to the ability to ensure reliability of the data and information sharing, I think it's important, we've been talking today so far about the partnerships and the relationships not only between CISA and the sector risk management agencies, but between the sector risk management agencies and all of the other critical infrastructure entities that they rely on, the owners and operators, the SLTTs, and others in the private sector. And that partnership is critical in order to be able to bring and be able to receive reliable information But that comes from a place of trust, which can be challenging sometimes to be able to acquire that type of information on a regular basis. And again, have that flow of information in order to be able to really kind of understand what actions are being taken, and also how the specific sectors are carrying out their work in order to be able to improve cybersecurity. So I think the partnerships, working to strengthen those partnerships, would help to encourage trust and would contribute to building the information sharing or improve information sharing in order to have more reliable data.